And here is where my hypocrisy looms. Because on the one hand, civic duty is all well and good, and what's best for the party and what's best for the country. You should always put country above self. That's great. I think that's brilliant. However, if a woman was not good enough to lead in the beginning, then why is she suddenly good enough to lead when you're in shambles? Make it make sense.
I slap you down. I slap you down. I slap you with violence.
Okay, so the 2025 elections are over. The country is now more yellow than anything else. The United National Congress is now the ruling government, and the Ketchup Party, the Red Party, the PNM Party, well, you've seen the map. You've seen what the country looks like. So, fun times at band camp. But it does bring about a very interesting thing, because as at the point of this recording, there is talk about the Honorable Penelope Beckles Robinson being sworn in as the first woman leader of the PNM. The PNM has been in existence since before we had independence, and only now she's the leader. Here's my problem with that. She's the leader now that the party is in kind of shambles. Former Prime Minister, the Honorable Keith Rowley, and by extension Lex impersonator, he resigned before the elections. He decided that it was time and he resigned. But his successor was this guy, Stuart Young, Minister Stuart Young. He was meant to be the heir apparent for all things PNM. And the question that everybody asked was, why? When Penelope Beckles was right there. This is a woman who, as mayor of Arima, as MP, she has been on the ground. She has been visible. People see her. She walks through the market. She walks with her big tall boots whenever there's floods. She is visible. People like her. And so there was murmurings about why wasn't she put there? Is it again, there's a perception that the PNM might have of being like a black party, and you want to escape that, except the reality is that the PNM is not a black party. Even since the very beginning, it has always been multicultural. Whether we want to admit it or not, it has been multicultural. So it's kind of weird. But okay, kudos, you've brought the new guy. But then the party lost the election, which leads the way for us to have Penelope Beckles as the first female opposition leader for the PNM. My query is why wait until this happened for you to do these kinds of things? Could you imagine the political landscape if we had these two powerhouse women actually doing the good thing? It might have actually been a little bit different. I'm sure, my knowing how Trinis operate, we don't really like to have the same party in power all the time. So I'm guessing the UNC would have won anyhow. But I feel like it might have been different than just 12 seats. But hey, you did what you did. But this is not the first time, and that's the problem. This is not the first time that this has happened. Let's rewind to 2020. This is the year of COVID, and there is a general elections that is meant to be going on. And the candidate for one of the areas is a nice gentleman dude. His name is Ansel Antwine. And Ansel Antwine is going to go up to be the MP for Dabity and O'Meara Dabity. And on a political platform, he stands up commending the good work that the Prime Minister was doing in terms of making sure that our COVID situation was under, good manners. He stands up and he criticizes 45, the US 45. This was back in the time when the US 45 was out there talking about countries, and he made a bit of a faux pas. And after he did that, he was removed. And Lisa Morris Julian, who was, if I'm not mistaken, she was the MP of Arima at the time. She was the mayor, sorry. She was the mayor of Arima at the time. She was brought in. Lisa Morris Julian should have been the candidate from the very beginning. But I guess she wasn't good enough in their eyes. But when this man made such a giant faux pas, they rushed and they brought her in, and you know what? She won her seat. So now that the party's in shambles, we've brought in the woman who should have been leading the party all the time, Penelope Beckles. It's always amusing to me that, in this wonderful patriarchal society that we live in globally, women still have to be the ones to come in and make things right, even on the other side. I was too young to vote when Uncle Basdeo Panday became the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, but one of the things he was talking about was Kamala Prasad Bissessar being the first female Attorney General, and I was so excited about that progress. And she stayed there for pretty much a year. And then after that, he moved her to Legal Affairs. And then after that, he moved her to Ministry of Education. And at one point in time, I think she was supposed to be doing culture, but don't hold me to ransom on that one. Education. And she did her job beautifully. And then he came out, I remember when he came out and had this big thing that he was going to give her a really decent post. And it turned out to be making her the head of the Women's League. Women always have to, no matter what you think about her personally, women always have to be the ones to clean up a man's mess. When are we going to, deal with that? I hope that this sort of reverberates throughout all parts, that there is a lesson to be learned here, that maybe we just bring in a woman to do the right thing all the time. Maybe, hey, you know what would be really cool? Hey, maybe we could actually have a female pope. I mean, we're not going to have that, but wouldn't that be great? But again, I'm just a rambler, right? Let's not learn from this lesson. Let's just have a woman in reserve to do the thing that she should have been doing from the beginning, because you need the security of a man.
You make it so easy, don't you? Always waiting for some bad man to save you.
Anyhow, I slap you.
I slap you, I slap you down. I slap you, I slap you down. I slap you with violence.